Not to be too pessimistic, but zombies really ain't the same anymore. There's a multitude of reasons for that. Mechanical changes that weren't asked for, lack of truly new ideas when it comes to maps and perks, and countless others, including massive crunch from Activision and the zombie devs just phoning it in. But there's a single, simple reason why zombies doesn't play like it used to. The reason why it seems there's less and less variety in the game. Despite a certain change that appears to give more freedom to the players, in actuality, it's ruining the gameplay. And that one element is the starting pistol. Or rather, the lack thereof. Since the inception of the game, Zombies has been a horde survival mode. As the game mode goes on, it gets harder. And as the difficulty increases, the player's means of defense and attack expands. The player starts off with the weakest gun in the game, the Colt pistol. This is done to match the difficulty of the enemies, which on the first 3 rounds, the zombies are weak enough to be taken out by just the pistol and the starting knife. The pistol is the springboard the player needs in order to get their points built up, so they can buy more powerful wall weapons and progress through the map. This system is simple to understand, but perfect for the type of mode this is. Progression is one of the most important things for the player to experience, a rising level of complexity. As the more points you get, the more the map and the mode you unlock. This balance of building up your arsenal is at the core of the classic Zombies game mode. Because of this, the starting pistol will always be eventually gotten rid of in favor of more powerful or useful weapons. There's no reason to keep it, as after the first 4 to 5 rounds, it has served its purpose. This was the case from World at War all the way until Infinite Warfare. You always began the match with the worst unpacked gun in the game. This is because your starting gun is intended to be used as a stepping stone. But that changed with, interestingly enough, World War II. Now we enter the era of what I'll call limited starting weapons. This is what both Black Ops 4 and World War II have. A small selection of SMGs, a few shotguns, single-shot rifles, and pistols. It's obvious why this was done, so the player would have a little bit more variety in how they start the game. However, this leads into a new problem. You see, there's a theory in games called dominant strategy, which essentially means there's one highly effective way to play and beat the game, and once the player unlocks it, they will always use it. And because not all weapons are the same, this leads into certain weapons always being picked over others. With World War II, as once it's packed, the snap pistol becomes one of the best weapons in the game. Almost all players will start with it, so they can keep it until they pack. And in Black Ops 4, because of how the point system was changed, which favors kills instead of farming damage off zombies, whichever weapon can one-hit kill will be the go-to option. This is why when the game launched, the MOG shotgun was the only weapon you saw people spawning in with. It one-tapped for so long, and the Dragon's Breath made it even more broken. It was so OP that the devs actually nerfed the gun, but all this did was make the players switch to the next best thing. Now everyone uses the Strife, because it has a built-in stiletto knife, which is a one-hit stab until round 5. And because knife kills offer more points, now the dominant strategy is even more effective than it was before. But even still, the Strife tapers off in the teens, and while it's a good packed pistol, it isn't the best gun in the game. So players will always trade it out. But you can see that the first 5 rounds will almost always have the player holding on to their starting pistol much longer than in previous games. With this established, we now come to the straw that broke the camel's back. Cold War. Which interestingly was built off of a modified BO4 engine. Sadly, it didn't learn from that game's small mistake and in fact, made it even worse than ever. Cold War's biggest issue is that it's too easy, which leads to the game feeling boring and all the maps playing the same. And one of the biggest factors of this issue is the fact that there is no limitations to your starting weapon. You can quite literally pick any gun to start with. Doesn't matter if it's an assault rifle, an LMG, or even a launcher. You can just pick anything. This is a big problem for more than one reason. The main one is that not all weapons are created equal. There are better guns than others. And because Cold War went even further in the direction of only getting points for kills, You know what that means? That only guns that kill zombies effectively with the least amount of bullets are viable to get you more points. And you know what guns do that? Shotguns. Here is where the dominant strategy completely takes over the game. Because the player can spawn in with a one-hit kill weapon on round 1, they always will, because that's how they'll get the most points. And this leads into the secondary problem that has trickled down into every game since. There is no more variety in the gameplay. Why hit the box? Why buy wall guns when you can already spawn in with the best gun in the game? You can just keep it until you pack and you're all set. One of the best aspects of the game mode was the experience of exploring through the maps, getting your hands on the unique sandbox of new weapons for each map. Now, everything is just handed to you. It requires no effort anymore to play the game. But that is a problem that isn't just limited to weapons, and technically it's been going on since Black Ops 3. The ability to just grab a gobblegum and open the entire map on round 1 and instantly get all the perks, it just completely eliminates the progression, which is the core of the mode itself. The game mode has lost what it once had, that innate challenge. Even in a mode like Modern Warfare Zombies, turning zombies into an extraction shooter is the exact opposite of what the mode was designed to be. I don't find any enjoyment in spawning in with every perk and wonder weapon in the game, and for what? To run around a giant battle royale map to get the exact same consumables I just used when the match started? If COD Zombies this year wants to be better than the previous games, it needs to have limitations. Giving the player the freedom of anything they want right at the beginning of the game isn't engaging. These are things that need to be earned. Imagine if at the beginning of a Mega Man game you just started with all the weapons and items. It would be a cakewalk. Zombies needs to have restrictions when the game starts again, and only then will it have the challenge return to it. Only then will the game mode have the depth that it once had.